This is KNWA News at 10 in high definition.
Good evening, I'm Cassie Hodges. Thanks for joining us tonight. The Bentonville Fire Department is battling a few more fires this summer, and the cause? Cigarettes not being properly disposed of. It's a dangerous new trend, and Rebecca Jeffrey is live in the studio with more in tonight's top story. Rebecca?
I'm Rebecca Jeffrey for KNWA Northwest Arkansas News.
Yep, good information. Thank you, Rebecca. Another fire sparking in Fayetteville last night, leaving a driver badly burned. According to police, it happened on College Avenue near the Longview intersection around 9 o'clock last night. When emergency crews arrived, a truck was on fire. Investigators think it hit an electrical box. On scene, first responders noticed the driver had severe burns to the upper part of his body. He was taken to a burn unit in Little Rock. But witnesses tell police the driver appeared to be on fire as he was leaving a nearby hotel before he ever got behind the wheel.
We believe that for some reason at that motel that he could have possibly had fire on him, been on fire, for some reason traveled down the roadway and then exited his vehicle, and that's what we found.
Now, police say charges could be filed as they do continue to investigate. Well, drivers, heads up, there's a few things you need to know before you hit the road this work week. A section of East Township in Fayetteville will be closed while the Transportation Division begins a milling and asphalt overlay project between Old Wire and Crossover. The road will be closed each day at 6 a.m. and will reopen at 4 p.m. That project is set to be done by Friday, August 2nd. And the city will turn off traffic signals at the intersection of College Avenue and Sycamore from 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday through Wednesday afternoon. Crews will add a video traffic detection system and make some equipment modifications. Stop signs will be installed while the lights are out, but the city is asking that you take a different route. All this construction is making way for a pedestrian crossing set to be installed a little further down the line. In more local news, a West Fork woman accused of plotting to kill her ex-husband with a pipe bomb is set to appear in court tomorrow. 40-year-old Shirley Mugley was arrested Friday and now faces a charge of conspiracy to commit capital murder. She remains in the Washington County Jail on a $50,000 bond. Now, this all stems from a 3-month investigation after a pipe bomb was found in a creek off Kettle Springs Road back in April. Now, detectives believe Mugley, along with her 20-year-old boyfriend, Andrew Cox, discussed plans to place the pipe bomb in Mugley's ex-husband's car. Cox was also arrested Friday on a prohibited weapon charge. Happening now, an Arkansas-based business lands near the top of a not-so-good list. Clothing retailer Dillard's ranks number 3 when it comes to worst companies to work for, according to an article on the Huffington Post. The list was compiled by 247wallstreet.com and says the company has a CEO approval rating of 23% among its nearly 28,000 employees. Worker complaints include poor pay and unreasonable sales per hour targets. Other franchises rounding out the top 5 include Dollar General and Radio Shack. Well, around Arkansas, a woman's personal story as a sex slave is inspiring a group of teens to join in the fight against sex trafficking. A group is working on a community event to raise awareness and money. The kids with teen recruiters are skating for freedom from slavery, an initiative sparked by Kathy Bryan's story, who at 15 years old became a victim of sex trafficking. After hearing her story, these teens want everyone to learn more about the crime, which they say can happen anywhere at any time.
When you see these teenagers on the street, in school, whatever, they're walking around with a bullseye on their head and nobody has told them.
After 28 years of silence, Kathy is finally telling everyone her story in hopes to prevent sexual slavery from happening to anyone else. And it's not just teens taking strides against human trafficking. This year, Governor Beebe signed a new bill to combat what's known as modern-day slavery in Arkansas. The Arkansas Human Trafficking Act of 2013 increases penalties for traffickers, allows their assets to be seized, and provides more help for victims. It also opens the door for the Attorney General to create a task force made up of elected officials, law enforcement, and advocates to further address human trafficking in the natural state. The legislation comes after Arkansas received low rankings for a lack of laws on the books combating the practice. And the natural state making low marks on yet another list this week. Dubbed as part of the poverty belt, Arkansans can expect to live fewer healthy years after age 65. That's according to a new report by the CDC. Now, this map shows you the poverty belt in the U.S. It's a region where more than 30% of people live in high poverty areas. These are states with the lowest healthy life expectancies. The Centers for Disease Control study cites health disparities among seniors in their final years are relative to where they live. But the poverty belt doesn't just take a toll on senior citizens. More than 25,000 children are at or under the poverty line right here in Benton and Washington counties alone. That's more than any county in the Arkansas Delta. But Laura Kellums and the Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families are working to change that statistic. She says more than 28% of children living in Washington County live in poverty. That's higher than the state average. So the organization is working with legislators to get more kids into after-school programs, pre-K programs, and provide them with health care.
The reason that poverty matters is that kids who live in poverty are statistically less likely to have the kind of opportunities that are going to allow them to succeed.
And for kids who are struggling here in Northwest Arkansas, about 1,200 are also considered homeless. And once school is in session, it's easy for these kids to fall behind when they don't have enough supplies in the classroom. Now, if you'd like to help those kids get back to school with the basics, Project Apple Tree is in full swing. All you have to do is choose an apple and get that child something special to start the school year. The Apple Tree is located at the Northwest Arkansas Mall, and apples can be picked from now through August 11th. A pair of twins battling a disease and helping others do the same, and they're doing it while having a little fun in the process.
Living a healthy lifestyle and living with this disease is all about support.
The unique way they're reaching out coming up in tonight's Doing Good Report.